Hey there. So you're looking into getting an answering service, but you keep seeing them base the price of their service on your minutes. You get that it's about how long they spend handling your calls every month, but figuring out how many minutes you'll actually need? Well, that's where things get a little tricky. If you're feeling lost right now, don't worry, you're not alone. It's a common question we get all the time, and we're here to help you get the answer. Alright, let's look at how to forecast your minute usage practically. This is useful if you've never used an answering service before, but if you have used one, or are currently using one, use this as an opportunity to see if you're getting the best value with the service that you're currently with. At Ames Call Center, we routinely check our customers' minute usage to ensure that they're getting the best rate for their call volume. And if your answering service isn't doing that, well, let's do the math together. It's important to remember that not all calls are created equal. The time spent on each call can vary wildly depending on what kind of call it is and what needs to be done. For example, general inquiries tend to take between 1.5 to 2 minutes long, while scheduling appointments tend to take between 3 to 5 minutes. And if you need to handle something like an enrollment form, well, you're going to be on the line for a bit longer. And if calls require escalation, which means they need to be transferred to someone else, well then, you'd be using more minutes. Now let's put this into practice. Let's do a little math to illustrate how you can estimate your usage and see how technology can help you save time. Imagine you get 300 calls a month. Let's say in this example that 40% of those calls are urgent and require escalation. That's 120 calls. Now, if we assume that each inbound call, that means calls coming into your business, takes about 1.5 minutes, then the time needed to handle those urgent callers adds up to about 450 minutes. But remember, those 120 urgent calls need escalation. So let's consider the steps involved. Starting with step 1, the text message. If step 1 is a text message to your on-call staff, you're going to be billed about 30 seconds per text according to the industry average. So that's 60 minutes to send text to your on-call staff to let them know about the urgent caller. Remember, there are texting apps that allow your on-call staff to acknowledge messages as viewed, but some might not acknowledge them. Maybe because they forgot to or they just didn't check their messages. So what do you do about that? Step 2, the confirmation call. So step 2 might be an outbound call to confirm they have received the text, which averages about 2.5 minutes. If half of the 120 calls require a follow-up phone call from the text message, that's 60 calls, or an additional 150 minutes. So for those 120 urgent calls, you're looking at 60 minutes billed for text messages and 150 minutes billed for outbound calls, which adds up to about 210 minutes. So how much are you really saving by assessing urgent calls and using technology? If you were to not use texting apps and escalated all calls with outbound calls, you'd be looking at about 300 minutes. But because you did the math here and used new technology, you saved about 90 minutes. Let's put that into perspective and do a little bit more math here. Using the industry average minute excess rate of $1.22 per minute, you would have saved $1,317.60 per year. So by breaking it down like this, you can see how using new technology and really understanding your minute usage through math would save you a lot of money. You might be wondering, why do outbound calls take more time than inbound calls? That's a great question. There are a few reasons why outbound calls take more time than inbound calls. Agents often need to explain the reason for the call, whether it's confirming a receipt of messages or resolving issues, and that generally takes more time than answering a simple question. So, which answering service plan should you get? Now that you know the factors that increase and decrease your minutes, and you know how to do the math to forecast your usage, you should have a pretty good guess as to what plan would be best for your business. Estimating your answering service minutes isn't a perfect science, but it's far from a wild guess. If you need help figuring out how much you should be spending on an answering service, we've got the perfect video right here. But if you're still wondering how many minutes your American business needs, click the link in our bio to request a free quote from us and we will get in touch with you. Our goal at Ames Call Center is to give you a practical estimate that will actually fit your business's needs. Anyway, that's all for this video. We hope it helped you understand your company's needs a little better, and we'll see you in the next video.